Hey YouTube, welcome to my show. This is Gamester81. I got a special guest here on my show, Dommie, also known as Dommiesan. Dommie, tell us a little about your channel.
Well, I opened my channel about 2 years ago, I think, but I didn't really start making videos till about a year ago. And started with basically a screen test to see if I could actually record direct footage off of some video game consoles, and I could. So I just put them up on YouTube, and to my surprise, people started subscribing that I didn't know. And that's basically the birth of the channel.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how many all over the world too, right? It's incredible.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. What channels inspired you to create your channel or start putting up videos?
Well, I started watching, of course, the AVGN. You know, I think everybody's watched AVGN, even non-gamers. And Mark from Classic Game Room, actually, I watched a lot of his videos and really liked it. And he's a fellow Pennsylvanian. I'm from Pennsylvania also. So actually, people sometimes get us a little confused because they say we have a similar style and our voices are the same. But I think it's more the Pennsylvania accent than anything.
Yeah, definitely. Now would you consider yourself more of a retro gamer or a modern gamer or both, or what?
Both, I think. I've kind of grown up with the whole video game industry in general. I mean, I don't know how old you are, but I'm in my mid-30s, and so when I was a kid, in the late 70s, it was like, you know, around the time when home video game consoles first came to be. So I kind of grew up with the whole industry, so I don't really look at it as retro so much as like, you know, games I used to play a couple years ago.
Right. Time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So what was your first system that you had growing up?
The first system I had was an Atari 2600. I got it back in '79.
Now, you still have the same one, or did you trade it, or get rid of it?
Sadly, I had it for a long time, and then when I moved out of my parents' house, I moved into a very small apartment, and I couldn't bring any of my video game stuff with me because I had like all the systems up until then. And so I left them in my parents' house in storage in their attic. And then one day I moved into a bigger place and went to retrieve it, and they were all gone. My mom gave them away to the Salvation Army.
Yeah, I've had that happen before.
Along with my golf clubs.
Yeah, I'm still bitter at my mom for getting rid of some of my stuff growing up, but I've been able to maintain most of it since then. But yeah, I think my first system was the ColecoVision growing up.
Oh, nice. I always wanted one of those.
Yeah, do you not have a ColecoVision now, or?
Yeah, I have a Coleco now,
okay.
But I always wanted one in the early 80s, and I could never save enough money to get one. And my parents wouldn't buy me one because they said, I already have an Atari. What do I need a Coleco for?
Yeah. I think I had the attachment too, where you could play Atari 2600 games as well. So that was nice to have a kind of 2-in-1 system.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So so you do a lot of system. I've noticed in your videos you do some system reviews. You do a lot of game reviews. What helps you kind of decide what video to do next? Like, how do you decide which game you're going to review, or do you just kind of random, or do you actually have it planned out?
It's whatever kind of floats my boat at the time usually.
Right.
And a lot of times when I get a new shipment of games in, I'll go through them and I'll say, oh, this is really interesting, let me do a video on this. But otherwise, it's more or less, I'll flip through a couple of boxes of games and say, oh, I haven't done a video on this and it's a pretty interesting game. Or let me play this, I don't even know what this game's about. And if I find it interesting or you know, bad, I might review it, as long as I can come up with enough stuff to talk about for it.
Right, sure. And what's your favorite game that you typically like to play, whether retro or modern?
Oh, geez, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it is. It's a tough question.
I've been flipping back and forth right now between 3 games in the modern era, and that's the new 3D Dot Game Heroes.
I saw your video. You have a new video on that, right? Recently, you just put up a video.
Yeah, a couple days ago I put up a video on it.
Cool.
That game just came out in North America like last week.
Yeah.
And, so I've been playing that a lot, and I play a lot of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 online.
Okay.
On the 360, and I also been playing the Ballad of Gay Tony for Grand Theft Auto 4.
Yeah, I've been meaning to pick that up. How is that? Is that pretty decent?
It's actually pretty decent. I wish I would have. I bought the download for it, and I wish I would have bought the disc because it comes with both. both expansions.
Right.
So I'm kind of sorry that I didn't go and buy the disc and I bought the download.
Right. Cool. You also review accessories too. I saw you had like a wireless Atari controllers, and you do different accessories as well on your channel, correct?
Yeah.
Very cool. So what else? What other channels do you like to watch on here on YouTube?
Well, of course, Gamester81 is and that's an ever popular channel. Let me congratulate you on making your partnership with YouTube.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks, Dommy. Yeah.
How is it? How does it feel to be a paid YouTuber?
It's good, but you know what I like? I think the benefit I like the most is that there's unlimited video. I like that. Because before, I think a lot of my videos, I kind of felt like I was rushed with that 10-minute, 11-minute mark. Mm-hmm. And now it's like unlimited, which is nice. Now, I'm not going to start doing like an hour video by all means, but it's nice I don't have to like rush it, you know? I think that's the biggest benefit from it. You know, it's something I'm not going to be able to quit my day job by all means and start doing YouTube full time, but it's nice supplemental income for sure, you know?
I have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
You have one of the most extensive game console collections I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
How long did it take you to amass that collection?
I mean, I don't know, tens of years. I mean, I'm 29, and I started collecting back in the day. You know, it's been probably 20 plus years. So a collection like this doesn't happen overnight, you know. And a lot of people think, how much you spend on that collection? It's hard to answer that question because it's over my lifespan, so it's hard to answer that. So I don't know. But yeah, I've been collecting for a while. And I guess I probably seriously started collecting probably maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Do you consider yourself more of a collector or a gamer or both?
I think both. I'm definitely a gamer first and foremost. You know, I like the retro games. I consider myself more of a retro gamer, although I do like the modern stuff too. I was playing, PS3 and stuff the other day, 360. I just got my 360 fixed actually.
Nice.
It was broken for a while. But then I also like the hunt and the going down and seeing what kind of games, and there's a lot of, my goal was to collect every console ever, and I determined that probably 4 years ago it's impossible because there's so many different clones and so many different systems that there's systems that I don't even know about, and I know there's a lot of systems I own that a lot of people don't know about, and it's kind of interesting going through the history. And I like to bargain shop, so when I go look, I don't like, if I go to eBay, I don't purchase the first thing I see. I like to wait and kind of feel for it. And with my modern games I buy, I actually wait to get them used. I don't wait or usually get them right away. I usually wait till they become like $40 or less to purchase them, if that makes sense, or
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, for sure.
A little bit of a follow-up question.
Sure.
How much space does your collection take up?
A lot. Well, I'm fortunate. I have a loft in my house, and living in Phoenix, so you can get a really cheap house out here. So my wife and I bought a 5-bedroom house.
Nice.
It's just the two of us right now. So like pretty much the whole upstairs is mine, and the whole downstairs is hers. So I have a loft, and I have like another room for my Star Wars stuff and all my other toys and stuff growing up. So it takes a lot. I think once we have kids, it's going to change the picture a lot.
Sure.
But we got a garage as well. I still a lot of my stuff in as well. So.
And also, you have a couple of incredibly rare video game systems. Are there any crazy stories behind like how you acquired some of them?
Yeah, that Bally, what is it? The Bally home computer. It's an Astrocade, but it's the home computer version. The first version that was a mail order one I own. Yeah. And it's kind of interesting story behind that. I found that through the guy who owns Atari2600.com. He actually fortunately, he lives about a mile from me. So him and I are really close. And I've been looking for an Astrocade for a while, and I went to his place. He contacted me, and usually he contacts me when really rare stuff comes in. He's like, I got this Astrocade came in, and I don't think at the time he didn't realize how the version of it and the rarity of it, because this is the first one that actually ever came out, and it's a mail order one. And I got it pretty much unopened, which is pretty incredible because it's 1976 or 1978-ish,
Right.
So I saw right away the home computer. I'm like, this is like the very first model, and I got a really good deal on it. Well, I was really excited to find that, So it helps having a major seller living right down the street from me, where I have like complete access to his inventory, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How the heck did you get a hold of a Nintendo IQ? I have a friend who's in China currently, and I've asked him for the past year and a half to keep an eye out for one for me, and he hasn't even found one in China. How did you get a hold of one?
Actually, interesting enough, I got it on eBay.
Wow.
A while back. Yeah. I think I paid, top of my head, I probably paid like $90 for it, I think. and that came with one game and whatnot. But I think they're selling for quite a bit more than that now. But
all the games are downloads, aren't they, for that?
Yeah, it comes with Dr. Mario, which is like and then it comes with some examples, like demos you can play as well. But it's an interesting system for sure. And I had an opportunity to buy more games with it, and I decided not to. But it is a pretty rare system. It's a pretty cool controller. I mean, I wish they had that controller for the N64 here in the States. I think it handles a lot better.
Yeah, so. Definitely. It looks pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So how did you get started on YouTube?
I've been on YouTube for several years, kind of like yourself, and I didn't start doing videos until about a year ago. And I, kind of like yourself, Angry Video Game Nerd, and all those other channels I really like Pete Dorr, Happy Console Gamer, all them, they kind of help inspire me. I don't know if you know Dino the Legend, 87. He actually did a video of his collection where he showed all his consoles on the floor, and that blew me away because he has an incredible collection. And I started thinking to myself, I have a lot of these systems that, I haven't really found videos for on YouTube. So I'm like, I could start doing videos on YouTube and show systems that people never heard of, and kind of start educating people on it. That's kind of how I started. And my very first, I'd say maybe 20 videos are very rough, and I'd say a lot, and very unedited and kind of raw.
I hear that. I can't even look at my early videos. I think they're horrible.
Yeah,
I don't even think my new ones are that great, but my first ones are so bad.
I'm like really tempted to take them down and just do them over again because it's kind of embarrassing on some of the for earlier stages. But I'm like, I'll keep them up there because my very first video was over the Nintendo 64 DD. And there's not many videos over the DD because it's a rare system that never came out in the States and stuff. So it's interesting. So
that's another example of a great find you have there. That Nintendo disk drive is like they're pretty hard to get hold of in Japan even.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I got mine on PlayAsia a while back, probably 4 or 5 years ago, and I just got lucky because mine came with all the games, like about 5 or 6 games, and I even see now on eBay the games are selling for $200 a pop now, which is unbelievable because I didn't pay nearly that. So it's interesting. I think the more people know about the systems, and the more the demand wants to go up for them, so they start going up in value, and the demand, supply and demand kind of deal. So I definitely I do my homework on these systems, so it's not like I go out and I have a budget when I purchase these systems too, so I know how much I want to spend. There's been situations where I want a system and it's just gone way out of my budget, and I just hold off on it,
Well, that's a smart way to approach collecting video games, though.
Yeah, definitely. And popular, contrary to popular belief, I do play a lot of my systems, all my systems. I do collect them, but I also like to play them too, and I like to open them. I don't like to. I bought Noah's Ark 3D, and it was unopened. It's a really rare game for the Nintendo or Super Nintendo. And I opened it on video, and people had a conniption because like, oh my god, you're opening a game, And I'm like, well, I'm not going to look to sell my collection for profit in the future anyway. Most likely, what I'll do is I'll probably just give it, if I have kids, a son or something, I'll just will it to my son or something, have him play with it. I don't collect to make money, by all means. If that's there's a lot of collectors that collect to oh, you got to keep everything unopened and sealed and whatnot because you're devaluing the value if you open it. But I don't really see it as like that. I want to play it, And what are your thoughts about ROMs and emulators?
Well, I have a mixed bag of thoughts on those. I mean, I use them myself. I don't use them in my videos, but I use them. I have a hacked PSP.
I saw your video on that. Yeah.
And I loaded that up with emulators and ROMs. I have a hacked Nintendo Wii that's loaded up with emulators and ROMs. And I kind of like the fun of playing games on machines that weren't intended to play them.
Right.
That being said, I'm not a big fan of piracy, and I don't promote piracy.
Right.
All the ROMs I have, I actually own hard copies of.
Right.
And that's the legal way to do it, and that's a safe way to do it.
And all the videos that you do are of actual gameplay of the game, right? Because I noticed you show the game beforehand, then you do the video.
Absolutely.
Good. Cool. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I always record off the original equipment. A lot of times, there's subtle differences between an emulator, whether it's visual or audio differences, than the original equipment and the original hardware. And I just I just like the look and the feel and playing on the original equipment. But that being said, I mean, it's also fun to have like a Nintendo Wii that plays Atari games.
Yeah, sure. What are your thoughts about the future of gaming and like digital downloads, like with the PSP Go? And obviously it's been a flop, but I mean, what are your thoughts about the future of gaming? And
I think it's going to be inevitable. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I can't predict when, but I think it's just inevitable that they're going to abandon hard copies altogether.
Right.
It's interesting to watch happen, but I don't think it's anytime soon. I think we're talking at least 10 years in the future before you see that as the prevalent way of transmitting games to consumers.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, because I like to have a tangible copy, because if you ever want to trade it in or sell it used, you can do that. But with a digital copy, it's hard to do that, you know.
Well,
and go ahead.
Think back to when home computers were new, and all software was hard copies in big boxes that were shrink wrapped, and that's like you never even see that anymore.
No, you're right.
I mean,
it's
it's inevitable that video games are going to go that way because they're basically computers.
Yeah. And you're seeing a lot of that, you know, digital downloads now with, you know, the marketplace and all that, where people can just download games. And, you know, I think you're right. It's going to be well for a system to be, like, fully downloadable like the Go. I mean, we've seen how the Go has been a no-go. That's what I call it. Because it's like, I talked to a lot of the GameStop employees, and when I'm ever there, and they're like, we still have the original 4 shipments from when we got it in, you know. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what Sony does with that system. But I think it's a little bit before its time, for sure. So, if there was one company you'd like to see back into the gaming industry, whether it's Sega or Atari, what would you like to see, and who would you like to see enter the gaming console market again?
Oh, geez. Fairchild Semiconductor?
Fairchild.
That would be
nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah, interesting. Yeah, and that's another example. I looked online to see how much. I have the Model 1 of that. But there's actually Model 2 as well. I looked on eBay, and it's going for like $300 or $400. I'm like, no. Not right now. You know, it's interesting. Now, you also have a website as well, right? You have a site that you sell games on, and I'll put a link below. But can you explain a little bit about your site and what you have?
Yeah, I started by selling my duplicate copies of games on eBay a while ago, and that was interesting. You know, people were buying them. And I said, you know what? I've always wanted to own a video game, you know, store. I always wanted to be involved somehow in the video game industry, whether it's a store or whatnot. And stores seemed to be the most logical way to approach it, having no background in computer programming or anything like that.
Sure.
And I decided to open up, you know, a website with a dedicated store on it. And that just opened this year. A couple months ago, actually, maybe less than 2 months ago, we opened up the doors, and now I'm a video game proprietor.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
All old school stuff, no new school stuff yet.
Now, do you ship international or just ship in the States, or what?
I ship international, but okay. I don't think I've had many international sales to date.
Okay.
Because my shipping prices are not that great for international.
Okay.
But there's not much I can do about that. Until,
how do you do? Yeah.
I was going to say, until, see, I use U.S. Postal Service for most of my shipping, but I also use UPS. U.S. Postal Service you can't negotiate rates with, but UPS you can.
Okay.
And once I get some sales under my belt, I can approach them and I can renegotiate my international rate, but as of now I can't do that. So I just have the same price internationally as your average Joe off the street.
That's cool. That's cool. I mean, it's exciting that you're doing that, because it's fairly new, right? A couple months?
Yeah, less than 2 months old.
Yeah, that's awesome. How do you determine your prices of your games that you sell?
I
search
online and see what other retailers are selling them for, and basically I sell them for less.
Okay.
You know, I try to stay competitive, but and you know, and still turn a profit. But you know,
sure.
I try to undercut almost everybody to that extent.
Cool.
So,
and are a lot of these games and stuff you sell like doubles and extras of what in your collection, or do you kind of just find these and?
Now I sell everything, and I have buying shipments that I do like weekly. I have packages constantly flowing in, so as they come in, I put them in the inventory of the website, and they go up for sale.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, so I've been on your site, and it's laid out really nicely. You're doing a good job with it. You know, the pricing's right and stuff. So definitely. Now, what is the site domain? What's the domain?
Oh, it's store store.classicgamesrevisited.com. That's the store section of the website. I have all my other videos from YouTube just embedded on the main site, which is classicgamesrevisited.com.
Okay, so you have 2 sites. Okay.
Well, it's the same site. It's just one's a subdomain. But if you go to the main one, classicgamesrevisited.com, there's a big link that'll take you to the store section also.
Very cool. Very cool. So one last question for you, Dommy. What future plans do you have for your channel? What do you plan on reviewing, or any in the pipeline? Do you have any in the pipeline currently, or?
Not really. when I decide to do a video, it's kind of whatever floats my boat at the moment. If I have some free time, a couple hours that I can actually sit down and record a video, I'll just pick up whatever game I haven't done a video for yet that interests me. So, I really don't know until I start recording it.
Yeah, for sure. Do you take requests at all?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone that wants to make a game video request, just drop me a note on YouTube or whatever.
Well, hey, Dommy, it's been a pleasure having you on my channel, on my show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining me, and big fan of your channel as well. And I hope that this will help. Too. Thank you, and I hope this will draw some more traffic to you, because I think you're about 1,500 subscribers at this point, something like that.
Yeah, right around there.
Yeah. So, and I know to you it's not all about the subscribers, neither is to me, but it's always nice to have more people watch the show as well. So hopefully this will help you out.
For sure. Well, thanks for having me on there.
Absolutely, anytime.
All right.
Have a great rest of the day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.